Plaintiffs Lisa Simpson and her 17-year-old son, Jonathan Allen, say the defendant is Lisa's daughter, and since the age of 18, she's been dating abusive men. Lisa claims one of the defendant's exes tried to kill her by drowning her and bashing her head into the ground. And another ex tried to throw her out of a moving vehicle. They're suing today for a loan. Defendant Amanda Miles admits that she's been in 3 abusive relationships, but says the reason she never escaped the abuse is simply because she was scared. Amanda says she desperately wants to turn her life around, but has been struggling to do so.
Start with you all.
I'm here with my son and my daughter. They're both my children. I don't like being in the middle of it, but my son is 17 years old, and he tried to do something nice for his sister, and it didn't turn out the way he planned.
Did they always get along?
Pretty
as
much,
young
yeah.
people?
They've always done pretty good until this. Since my daughter was 18, she's been in a cycle of abusive relationships. We've tried to help her. We've done, what we could to help her. When one of her exes ended up putting her head underneath a faucet trying to drown her. The same one also tried to beat her head into the concrete, tried to kill her. Wow. Another one tried to throw her out of a moving vehicle.
Arrested and prosecuted, hopefully?
No. I'm not sure why, but no.
You want to address that?
When you're in a relationship and you're scared of someone, things are a lot harder when you're in the situation.
How many different relationships?
3.
Three different men who were physically abusive?
Yes.
How long were you with the first person before they assaulted you?
We were together over, I don't know, maybe a year and a half.
Okay, when he assaulted you.
Correct.
Already in love or what have you. Second person, how long had you been with them?
We were together a total of about 4 years.
Before they assaulted you?
I guess.
You have been with them, what, 6 months, a year?
Around 6 months.
I wouldn't assume you were in love that quick.
I got pregnant.
How about the third time?
The third time
guy?
we weren't together very long.
How long before he assaulted you?
About 4 or 5 months.
You stayed with him?
I did.
Why'd you stay with him?
At that point in time, things were just really complicated. He was just very manipulative, and he was always full of threats, and I just...
He was full of threats?
Full of threats.
He was very controlling.
No, and I'm talking about physically assaulting her within 4 months after the first man assaulted her. A year and a half, all right, you don't want to leave, you feel so dependent, you might be so in love and blinded by love.
Defendant Amanda Miles is being sued by her mother and brother, who say they are worried about Amanda because she's been dating abusive men since the age of 18.
Second relationship, it was only 6 months before he assaulted you. And the third relationship, it was only 4 months. So I guess my point is, most folks wouldn't think that the second and third came from battered women syndrome because, that early in the game, you just walk out the door immediately. And if you're that fearful of these guys, you never called the police?
Police came to our house a couple times.
For the second and third guy?
Yes. My mom has come to my house multiple times as well, and it got bad. I would fight back, and she was there. I almost got arrested because I...
All right, ma'am, but you said you stayed with them because you were scared. Did they retaliate after you called the police?
Sometimes there would be retaliation afterwards, and at the...
And then would you call the police back and have them prosecuted? Did you ever have them prosecuted?
No.
All right, ma'am. Did you ever go for counseling or anything?
No, I know that I need to go, but I'm a single mom with 5 kids, and I feel like I work, I go to school full time, and I just don't feel like I have the funds or the time.
Okay, you should have the funds. Insurance should cover it now. I was trying to delve into it a little bit so that others can get some insight as to what happens with folks in this situation. So keep picking these same guys.
That's what I mean when I said she was in a cycle. I'm terrified that I'm going to get that phone call that a mother dreads that she's going to be dead.
She needs counseling. What do you want to tell me before we go into the loan?
So,
anything else? Go ahead.
I'm not blaming anyone for my issues now, but growing up, You know, my mom left to better her life. She moved to another state, left me with my father, and he left me with, well, the woman in his life was a big part of my life for a long time, and she suffered from a severe mental illness, and I suffered a lot for that. And so just growing up, it was really rough going between the two of my parents.
Sounds like you became accustomed to abuse.
I did. And then, you know, I would come to my mom's house, and with the guy that was in her life, like, it wasn't so great there either.
How old were you when your mom left?
I don't know, like 8. Thank you.
And what was your understanding of that?
She just was living a bad lifestyle, and she needed a change to better herself, which when you're 8, you don't understand that.
And right, did you ultimately go to live with her?
I mean, like, I lived with my dad during the winter, and I would go to her house during the summer. But I hated life in the summer because of just the way that the guy that was my father figure there, he was rough on us growing up.
Abusive.
I mean, not
Rough as in
physically.
what?
Like, I remember one summer I would come up and I would be grounded to my bed for the whole summer because for whatever reason we'd come in past curfew, or I mean, I don't remember exactly the reasoning behind that, but I would be grounded to my whole bed for the summer. So I looked forward to come spending time with my mom, and then I get here and I hated life growing
You want to
up.
respond to this?
I never agreed with it. I couldn't do anything about it. However,
Couldn't do anything about what?
her being grounded to her bed.
Why not?
When he was a truck driver, so when he left, by all means, they got up out. I mean, I went against everything he tried to ground him for. They would always have a chance. He would ground them for a couple days to their bed. They would always have a chance to make things right, you know, to do things the way they
So
needed
you
to
don't
be.
believe he was abusive? Let's just go right there.
I don't. I'm sorry,
All
I
right,
don't.
So that's the deal. And so it seems like she's been affected by that significantly.
Yes.
She's going to get a little counseling. I think with the new Affordable Health Care Act, everybody's required to have insurance, and that insurance includes, I do know that, insurance companies are required now to assist and take on folks with psychological issues. So go and check into that.
Defendant Amanda Miles is being sued by her mother and brother, who say they are worried about Amanda because she's been dating abusive men since the age of 18.
Let's get to the unpaid loan we're suing for.
He was 16. He worked for the summer, and he wanted to help her. So I don't know. He just wanted to
Did you
help
put any
her.
money into it?
I did not.
All right, well, I'm going to allow him to speak. Young man, tell me.
All right, well, she came to me October of 2013 asking if she could borrow $500 for her car to be fixed so she could be able to get to places. We both agreed that she would pay me back within a month, and
Hasn't paid you at all?
no.
Ma'am, what do you say to this?
So I was in that last abusive relationship, and it was to the point in my custody papers of my kids, it is my responsibility to provide transportation when it is my turn to have them. So I needed my car fixed. So I went to my family for help.
Did you agree to repay?
I did.
When?
I told him that I would pay him back starting within a couple weeks, what I could when I could.
Okay, have you?
At that point in time, I did not.
Why?
I told him because just life happened. I was supporting myself, my 5
I know,
kids.
you knew that when you told him you'd pay him
I
back.
did. I was supporting myself.
Why did you tell him that if you knew you couldn't?
Because at the time I thought I was going to be able to. The relationship.
What made you think you could?
I had second income coming in at that point in time.
All right, so what happened to that second one?
Okay, so the relationship that I was in, he quit his job.
Within 2
and
weeks?
Yes, he was
Is that
actually.
Yes.
He quit his job within 2 weeks? All right, so now we understand. But that's not a legal defense. You're going to have to pay him. $500 is his judgment. Have a good day.
I'm just glad that it's done and over, and I've learned a lot from it.
I love my daughter. I'm hoping that she can get some help. I'm glad it's over with. I'm hoping they can be family again. I love you.
I just wanted her to learn her lesson and hope for everything to be better.
Did your roommate leave without notice before your lease expired, and now you don't know what to do about it? Ask me about it on my website, askjudgemathis.com.